after talking with you today about some of the qualifications of Mr. Wilson and what he's done within the animal community, I think he's a perfect fit for what we want to accomplish here in Prince George's County concerning the animals that we have here. As far as making changes within the lower administration within Mr. Wilson's purview, I've already told everyone, in our administration, we're going to come in, we're going to do a line-by-line audit of not only the budget, but of personnel within the county government. That's the first thing that we're going to do within the first 30 to 90 days is audit all personnel. And we're going to make that determination whether or not you have been performing on your job. If you haven't been performing, then we need to take the steps to counsel you on your lack of performance, document that so that we can, through HR, human resources, go through the process of removing those county government employees who are not serving the people of Prince George's County. And that's very important. But we've got to make sure that we talk to our county government employees to make sure that they understand these are the standards, this is what we're holding you accountable for. And if these individuals have not been counseled previously, have not been told these are the standards, then the leadership, the management in Prince George's County is at fault, not the employees. And therefore, it may take us a while to relieve someone and bring someone else in place if that employee hasn't been given the opportunity to correct the deficiencies that he's been showing within the county government. So you always got to be fair to the employee. But if you don't perform, we will remove you because we are determined to have the best services here for Prince George's County residents.
To deal with dangerous dogs, the county currently has a statute that prohibits certain specific breeds of dogs. Would you support keeping or changing this statute?
I support changing the statute. And actually I came about this philosophy not running for county executive, but during the work that I did in the legislature in 2002 when we were dealing with animal cruelty. At that time it was elephant animal cruelty in the circus, but we looked at every the things that were going on around the state. And so I don't think you can single out a breed here and say that animal is going to be naturally dangerous or vicious. What I want to make sure in Prince George's County is that, one, we have a philosophy that embraces making sure that animal cruelty is not taking place in Prince George's County, that every breed, is not, that folks are not training their dogs or pets to be vicious. But no, I don't support, singling out a particular breed. One, I think there's nothing, at least I've seen in the data, that says a particular breed is any more dangerous than any other.
Well, first of all, I think it's important to make an objective assessment on this particular policy. I'm not sure that when that policy was implemented, that the times we are living in now still justifies having that policy on a specific breed. I believe we need to put the experts at the table, breed-specific experts, and in order for us to make an assessment of that kind. I don't know if it's fair to single out a specific breed. That's something that I'm looking forward to working with the stakeholders, all stakeholders, as we move along and make an assessment on a law such as that. And I think we have to be very careful without the input of the citizens, who want to be animal owners or pet owners, that we don't have their input as we move along. So I think it's something that we need to take a look at. Even though it has been on the books for a few years, I think it's time to take a look at it.
Well, many of our laws are driven by a headline-making incident or an emotional occurrence at that particular time. And one thing that we also had before the House Judiciary Committee this year was an alternative approach, allowing a state body really to make some of those decisions based on reviewing whether, you know, just comparing animals, period, and comparing the research on whether the dog is truly dangerous or is it human behavior, what exactly drove or is driving, say, the negative encounters between people and animals. So I think we might look at perhaps a state approach on it, because I do think it is unfortunate when you have one headline making case or an emotional occurrence drive, say, a policy that is perhaps more extreme than we want. So I'm looking at whether that state approach might work. But other than that, I think, you know, I think we should be open to sort of revisiting some of these issues and looking at the research and looking at the data to determine if we acted in error on some of the restrictive bans. I mean, it's just something we perhaps should look at. Maybe have a task force to pull together all of that information, all of that data to see if some change is in order. I think that generally would be my approach, to look first at whether a state approach might be appropriate and remove it from some of the emotion, and then also maybe to look at a community-driven task force to look at what the data is and whether we should make some changes.
Well, it's very interesting that you bring this question up. Because just a couple of months ago, I was talking to a dog owner, and one of his concerns was the fact that he wanted to move here to Prince George's County, but we have on the books a law that doesn't allow him to maintain his pit bulls here in Prince George's County. So my first question was, why? And then the answer came back, well, people think they're dangerous animals. And when people always say they think, I always ask, can you substantiate that with some documentation, some scientific analysis? And what I'm finding out is that really there's little scientific analysis of why a particular breed is more dangerous than another. It's usually an incident of a particular breed has happened, and then it becomes very publicized in the media, and then the media sort of focuses on that particular breed, and that breed gets a bad name. It's almost like, I'll just be honest, focusing on minorities and saying minorities are doing something bad, and therefore the media always focuses on that, or the image of Prince George's County. The media focuses on Prince George's County and always tends to focus on the negative aspects versus the positive aspects of Prince George's County. And I think that's been what's happening towards the breeds that have been outlawed here within our county. And we need to re-look that. And if there's scientific data and an analysis that supports the law, and that it's not media press that's driving why we wrote that law, then that law needs to be changed. Because I don't think it's the breed. It's just like people. There are bad apples in all races. They're bad apples in all breeds of dogs.
To control homeless cat populations, several surrounding jurisdictions have adopted a policy of trap, neuter, return, TNR, in which cats are humanely trapped, taken to a vet for spay or neuter, vaccinated against rabies, ear-tipped, and returned to the location where they were trapped to be looked after by dedicated caretakers. Would you support the adoption of this approach as official county policy?